Bonjour tout le monde, welcome back to We in France. I'm Diane, and today we are here in Angers city center at Monoprix, a popular French supermarket chain. And if you find yourself in France in need of some souvenirs for your friends and family back home, that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you some of my favorite things, affordable, easy to pack, that you could get in any French supermarket. So let's head inside. Okay, so one of my favorite things to bring back for souvenirs are French cookies, and you're gonna find no shortage of them. One of my favorite brands is Bonne Maman, which you also find jams that we'll get to in a sec, but there are all kinds of cookies. You'll see ones here, different varieties of sablé, which actually can mean sand as well, but in this case it's a butter cookie. There are ones here on the left that are just plain butter. These are all excellent. And then as I bring you over to my right, we're gonna pass over the Monoprix brand of cookies, the Monoprix Gourmet. You'll see all kinds there, but let me draw your attention to what we're coming up upon here. This brand, Michel et Augustin, they're a really high-end brand of cookies and all kinds of fun things that you can bring home easily in your suitcase. So if you're into cookies, you have a bit of a sweet tooth, definitely don't count out the aisle that has all types of French cookies. And something else right behind the cookies here in this particular store, you'll find all kinds of candies, sour candies, mints. Something I like to highlight here and point out, these Vichy mints. Ooh, get them in the frame. Vichy mints are excellent. And you'll see Haribo as well. I believe they're actually a German brand, but you'll see all kinds of gummy worms and gummy candies like these here in the orange. And then something else which is pretty French is if you like caramels, kind of like taffy and that sort of thing, carambar. There are ones that are in fruit flavors here. There are also just regular caramel ones, and they're a hit with French kids and adults too. But definitely check out the candy aisle. Another one of my favorite things to recommend when you are in France, if you want to bring back for a foodie, we have all kinds of honey, spreads, and jams. Now, Bonne Maman is a brand that I believe has made its way to the US. Here in France, there are way more flavors. Things like rhubarb, which maybe you wouldn't find in the US. All kinds of really interesting French jams and spreads. Nutella is a really popular one, but you'll actually find similar noisette, hazelnut flavored spreads that are made without palm oil, like this one right here. So if you're into that type of taste, there are a lot of really nice spreads. I'll just back up so you could see a little bit. Something else actually above my head is a chestnut spread. Let me grab it. And this chestnut spread here, I think it's also called crème de marron, like cream of chestnut. You could use it in different recipes. It's also nice mixed with yogurt. Super sweet, very popular stuff. There are all kinds of honey varieties. Honey is quite popular in France. You're going to find really high-end honey that's going to cost well over 10 euros for a small container, like some of the ones here in my shot. Again, organic is usually going to be more expensive. You can find honey direct from the producer, honey that is lavender flavored, honey that is orange flavored, all different types of honey. You'll see some here that are a little more high-end. Yeah, like right here, lavande, that's lavender. So that kind of honey. All different kinds, and makes a nice gift if you're someone who uses a lot of honey, either in their tea or in a recipe or in their yogurt and that sort of thing. And to the left, actually, you'll notice a container of Skippy. When I first came to France, peanut butter was really hard to find, and now, while you won't find 100 varieties, you'll see several varieties of different types of nut butters in mainstream supermarkets like you're seeing here. And then as we move down to the right, again, if you have a little bit of a sweet tooth, something I love are madeleines. These types of baked goods here, of course, they're best from a bakery, but if you get this variety here, again, from Bonne Maman, they have a whole product line. We have ones that are just plain, little, vanilla, almond cakes, whatever, just plain. Some have milk chocolate, some have a chocolate center, like these. You're gonna find ones that right below here are lemon flavored. And I think a bag like this has 8 or, no, they have 12 individually wrapped Madeleine. And if you look down a little lower, you're going to see ones that are little chocolate muffins. You're going to find little marble cakes and that sort of thing. And these stay fresh. You know, like I said, they're individually wrapped. And I would definitely go with the Bonne Maman brand. There are others too, but yeah, these individually packaged desserts are pretty good. And then if we move to the right even a little more, you're going to find crepes, pre-packaged. Again, fresh is always better, but you could pick up a few packs. They're going to keep well in your suitcase and stay good. Usually packs of 10 or 12. Again, you're going to find ones that are just plain, and you're going to find ones that are vanilla, that are just a little bit sweeter. And let's see, this is a pack of 12. And these are what, €3.45. Authentic crepes from Brittany, as denoted by that little seal there in the bottom left in yellow with the blue, product of Brittany. So yeah, if you're into sweets and want a little something for dessert, this is definitely the aisle you want to stop into. Something just caught my eye. We're in the honey aisle still, but a candy that's popular with the French is nougat, and this is pretty sweet. It'll stick to your teeth, and this one is honey flavored since we're still in the honey aisle. But if you see nougat, especially fresh nougat made at a specialty chocolate shop, at a specialty candy shop and that sort of thing, it's worth getting. I don't know if this particular product is good, but nougat in general is excellent. And something else that makes a really good gift, if you have a tea lover in your life, there is no shortage of French tea. A brand I'll spotlight here, nothing in this video is sponsored, by the way, is Yogi tea. I think we have this in the US as well, but you might find a few flavors that don't exist in the US. But you'll see all kinds of teas, you know, with no caffeine, infusions, teas for digestion, teas for being calm and serene. This one here is a tisane for the night, nice and calm, and that sort of thing. And then you'll find regular old Lipton, but there's also a Monoprix brand as well with all kinds of teas, and one that I particularly like, you can actually put it in a water bottle and have it iced. This is something that has 10 tea bags, organic, which you'll note by the word bio, B-I-O, right there, and you pop that in your water bottle and you have some nice iced tea. If you have a baker in your life, or maybe you want to get something for yourself, something I love are the little sugar cubes. A big brand is actually called Daddy, down here on the left, and you'll find ones that are usually square or rectangular, but these actually happen to be circular, right down here. And sometimes you'll even find ones that are flavored, like vanilla and that sort of thing. But yeah, I love the cute little sugar cubes. And then to my left, above the flour and all of that, there are French cake mixes. You could get a sense of what kind of stuff they have in that category. Something that is pretty popular is also this gelatin, sheets of gelatin. They don't have Jell-O here, but if you're making a cake that kind of has a layer of flavored gelatin on top, these sheets are very popular. And there's all kinds of fun things, if you're a baker, that you might want to check out here. All right, next up we are in the spice aisle, and something I'll point out right off the bat is France has amazing salt from different areas. So you'll find some that is from Camargue, which is actually down in the south of France. You'll also find ones that are more by me here in the Loire Valley and the Loire Atlantique in Guérande, which is actually on the Atlantic coast, and that's really good salt. But you'll find all different brands, but there's really, really nice salt in France, so you could pick that up for a cook in your life. You'll also find all kinds of interesting spices. These are all from Provence. Well, these ones are thyme, and then it looks like special sel, again, special sel, and then special salt here from Camargue with some pepper in it, the piment d'Espelette, herbe de Provence, which you're probably familiar with. And as we move down the aisle, I'll show you what else we have. And you'll find a lot of spices that are familiar to you. One I would particularly recommend is something called the bouquet garni. This is going to have thyme in it, and really good stuff here if you're doing any cooking in a slow cooker and that sort of thing. All right, if you're into mustard, one brand I would recommend is Maille right here, a Dijon mustard. I believe you can find this in the US, but you might not have all of the varieties that you can find in a French store. This particular supermarket doesn't have a ton of mustard varieties, but in bigger stores you can find excellent French mustard. And while I believe Maille does exist in the US, I don't know if it's actually imported from France, but obviously if you buy it in a French supermarket, you're going to get the real deal, and it's absolutely worth it. Just it is in glass, so make sure you pack that. And right above here we have all kinds of mayonnaises that are often great quality. So if you have someone who's into condiments, definitely pick some of that up. And even honey mustard, which is also excellent. Something else that's really popular with the French are these syrups, or sirop en français. They're great for kids or even adults who want a non-alcoholic beverage and not just plain water. They come in a bunch of different flavors, raspberry, lemon, mint, grenadine, that sort of thing. And you just mix them with water and you have a nice flavorful drink. And one perk of Monoprix, they don't just have food and grocery items, they have a bunch of textiles and home products. So if you need to get new dishes or placemats or tablecloths or anything like that, they're a place where you can definitely find that, cookware, bakeware. And something else I'll recommend is a dish towel. Now, of course, know your audience. You probably don't want to give one of these to your boss, and suggest that they need to do their dishes a little differently or anything like that. But maybe a gift for yourself or someone you know well. Monoprix has a bunch of really cool dish towels. They're in French. They're called torchons, and all kinds of patterns and fabrics. Hey, look at this. It's almost Halloween, and looks like over the years the Halloween selection has gotten bigger. You'll see costumes, which are generally scary. You won't see too much in the way of pretty princess stuff. Something else you won't see is Halloween-themed candy like we do in the US, like pumpkin Reese's and special packaging for Halloween. That's something you don't really see in France, but little by little Halloween is becoming more popular, even if we don't have the special candy. If you find yourself in France before the holidays, advent calendars are really popular, and it looks like now, toward the end of October, they're already starting to stock them. Ones with kids' toys, and then also, as I come around the corner, Kinder, which I believe is a German brand, but they're very popular in France. A lot of chocolate advent calendars, and definitely check out my link below. There's actually a store I recommend for buying really cool French advent calendars in the US, and I think I have a discount code for you, so check that out below. All right, when it comes to school supplies, or if you're a bit of a stationery fanatic like me, a brand I'll spotlight is Clairefontaine. It's really popular with school-age kids and really with anyone if you need a notebook for anything. You'll find in France the paper is usually, let me see if I could do this with one hand, the paper is usually not lined like how we know it in the US. It almost looks like more of a grid, if you could see that with squares. You won't always find just lined paper. You'll find something more like this. And they come in all sizes and colors. And as you can see there on the price, these are just a couple of euros depending on the size. So those are cool. They have the spiral bound ones. They have all kinds of notebooks. Some that are more practical and others that are more pretty. But I'm a huge fan of picking up some stationery, journals, and that sort of thing. And if you have any kids in your life and they're learning French, or you'd like to start teaching them, definitely stop by the kids' book section. There's everything for really young kids that are mostly photos, all the way up to older kids where there's novels and different types of longer books. But they have a nice selection here. Fountain pens are really popular in France. You'll have to tell me if you're French, if you used a fountain pen when you were in elementary school. I feel like they're more popular in France than they are in the US. You'll find all kinds of interesting pens, and something we don't really use as much in the US. Kids don't use ink as much. They use pencil that erases, but in France you'll actually find these eraser pens that will erase a certain type of ink, usually from a fountain pen. So kids have what's called a trousse. It's a pencil case, basically. It can also mean a toiletry case, but a trousse with all their pens and their instruments, a compass and all of that for back to school. But these eraser pens are a must because kids use pens, usually fountain pens with ink, usually blue or black ink. And when you make a mistake, these will correct it. Then as we head down the aisle, you'll see a lot of stuff that's familiar. I really like these highlighters by a brand Stabilo. And they actually come in pastels, so not just super bright yellow or bright pink, but there are ones that are pastels, which I found to be really good. But yeah, you'll find all kinds of fun stationery stuff if you're into that like I am. And also, in addition to the grocery stuff and the textiles I showed you, the books, most Monoprix stores, or Monoprix en français, they'll have clothes as well. So now, is it the highest end clothes around? Maybe not, but you'll find really cool accessories, scarves. If you want to pick up a beret, they'll probably have one of those too. Different kinds of socks and scarves and just all that French style stuff. So it's worth giving it a look, see if anything is what you're into. But yeah, shoes and all kinds of things. And there is a makeup section as well. I find that most brands you'd probably be familiar with, they're going to be more expensive in France, but that's not always the case. So if you need some new lipsticks, eyeshadows, nail polish, whatever, it does pay to have a look here. Monoprix does have their own line of cosmetic products, so you can take a look and see if anything works for you. But yeah, there's a whole section here. And something you'll notice in France for both men and women, scarves for all seasons are very popular, not just ones to keep you warm in the winter. You'll find ones that are lighter, that are more of a silk material, that are more fashionable than functional, but then also we also have very warm scarves that are for the winter months. You can find them at Monoprix as well. And then also, hey, and these are actually 30% off as denoted by the orange tag here, 30% off. So let's see, $22.99, a bunch of colors. So yeah, if you're into a scarf, you want to look a little more French, men and women both wear scarves pretty much all year round. Of course, maybe not when it's sweltering hot, but they're a fashion accessory for sure. If you can't tell, I'm a big fan of functional gifts, and socks are always a good thing to have. This particular brand, it says they're French fabrication since 1924, and all different kinds that are wool, silk, cotton, sporty, and all of that. These are actually, let's see, they say they're recycled materials, but definitely don't count out the French grocery store when you're looking for souvenirs. I mean, depending on your relationship with the person, you might not want to get someone socks or a dish towel and that sort of thing, but there's still really nice gifts, especially for foodies, that bring a taste of France, quite literally. Something else I'll recommend here in this personal care aisle are soaps from a brand called Le Petit Marseillais. This is a little boy here from Marseille, the town of Marseille. Marseillais is a person from Marseille. And there we have the little logo of the boy. And these are just everyday soaps, kind of like Dove. These are not luxurious soaps, just a few euros, but they tend to be good quality. They're all different scents, vanilla, things like that, peach, and easy to pack. But yeah, Bath and Body Wash from this brand is also really nice. You'll see all kinds of scents. Don't count out the personal care aisle because you can find a lot of cool soaps and bath products. And in most cases, I probably wouldn't recommend bringing wine back in your suitcase. I have a blog post about this that you could check out. There's a special piece of wine luggage I recommend that'll keep your bottles from being broken. But in France, you could find a lot of amazing wines at the supermarket, and definitely something to check out and drink while you're here at least, or if you have the proper materials to safely pack them to bring home, definitely do that. But yeah, you can grab great wine at the supermarket, and if you're into wine like I am, grab a bunch of kinds to try locally from wherever you're traveling in France. There is no shortage. All right, potato chips and snack food might actually not make it in your luggage, but while you're here visiting, definitely check out some of the more interesting flavors of potato chips that maybe you don't have at home. One that I'd like to highlight for you is actually the roasted rotisserie chicken flavor, the Saveur Poulet Rôti. There's a brand called Brett. That's actually what I'd recommend here. They don't have too many different flavors that are Brett's. These are just the regular potato chip flavor. But you'll find maybe 10-15 flavors in larger supermarkets of all kinds of really interesting, very French inspired potato chips that are worth a look. Okay, depending on how much room you have in your suitcase, and if you have kids that like sugary cereal, or maybe you like it, but one of the most popular for kids is something called Choc à Pic. Right here, this one is organic, again noted by bio, and it's kind of like Cocoa Puffs, but they're more like cornflakes, the shape of the cereal. And then down here, we actually have one that is not organic, same thing, Choc à Pic. But yeah, if you're into cereal, you'll find some interesting ones here. Something I always recommend if you're into chocolate is check out chocolate bars. There's all different kinds. Some are going to be a little more higher end, but ones that I love is this Nestle L'Atelier. It has a bunch of nuts, has great texture, and you'll also find flavors of like Lindt chocolate. While it's not French, you're going to find varieties that maybe you can't find at home. So there are some sneaky ones in there that are really good. My favorite would be pistachio and almond paste, but you really can't go wrong. Even the mainstream mass-produced chocolate that you find at a supermarket can be quite good if you just have a little craving for something sweet. And there's also the Monoprix brand, which you'll see right in the center of the frame here, denoted by their colorful packaging. And that's, let's see, about €2 for one of those. Milka is also a popular brand here in purple, but it's the equivalent of, say, Hershey's. Not super high-end chocolate, but usually at most grocery stores you can find some chocolate that is a bit higher quality. And I'll just show you one here up high. Let me grab it. Something here. This is just over €3 for one chocolate bar. And this is actually from, with the salt that I told you about earlier, this salt from Guérande. And before I showed you some advent calendars that were food and toy related, and here in the beauty section there are some that are cosmetic and skincare related. So yeah, as I said, advent calendars are really popular in France. You can also find them at the pharmacy. This isn't a gift idea, but something that I used to get a kick out of when I first came to France is that there's actually bread that's sold without the crust. If you look closely, this is called 100% mie. So there's actually no crust, which I find is the best part. You can certainly buy bread, sandwich bread that has a crust like this, but they actually have ones like this that say 100% mie, sans croûte. And yeah, it's pretty popular, not just with kids, but you'll see that it exists in different sizes, whole wheat and all of that. Just something that we don't really have in the US. Something that I love that is specific to Monoprix are these little fold-up nylon bags. And they're actually a pretty good size. They have 2 handles on them, and I believe they're only about €1 or 2. And they come in a bunch of different motifs, different patterns. And sometimes you'll even find ones that have the Eiffel Tower pattern, something very French, but they make great souvenirs, super easy to pack, really small, and they are a decent sized bag once you open them up. And something to remember is that in France, you pretty much need to bring your own shopping bags, your reusable shopping bags. They don't really give you free paper or plastic at the register. No one's going to pack your bags for you. So these are not only cool looking souvenirs, but they're pretty functional if you're going to be doing any grocery shopping in France. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's Saturday. It's starting to get really busy, so I don't want to accidentally film other customers. So I think I'll leave it here. But to get some of these products in the US where you live, I have a great recommendation for a store. Again, this is not sponsored, but I have a great recommendation for a store that ships from the US, all imported French products, everything from regular grocery items to items that are a little more high-end, that are traditional gifts and that sort of thing. So I will link that down below in the comments. But thank you so much for being here, and hope you enjoyed this look at a French grocery store and some of the things that work as souvenirs. Thank you, happy holidays, and see you soon, right back here on We in France. Salut!